Paddy Galloway.
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 This is going to be a YouTube masterclass. And in a given month, I've probably worked or had my hand in 700 million views.
I just can't say I can't say it enough. Like, I'll be blue in the face saying this until I think the day I die. Is like, you know, the idea is more important than everything.
Here's a fun fact: your comments have like no weight in the algorithm.
If I was actually speaking to a thumbnail designer, I would say just obsess over concept side. You wanna get really good at understanding why people click.
The most critical part of the video to hold retention is the first 30, 60 seconds. People, I think, get a bit weird about numbers. You know, like when you see something represented on a screen, it's like, well, this thing has to be truth, you know, because numbers are, you know, binary. It's like yes, no. Whereas, you know, a great example of this is CTR. CTR, click-through rate, is pretty much inversely correlated with impressions. So like the more impressions a video gets, the lower CTR will go, because the video is getting pushed out to a broader and broader audience who are less engaged with your channel and less likely to select the video. It doesn't mean your thumbnails got worse or your videos got worse. It just means your video is being shown to a broader audience set. I'm trying to make a video that I can put in front of my mother, my younger brother, a 10-year-old, a YouTuber with 50 million subscribers, a YouTuber with 100 subscribers. So if I'm gonna do that, I have to really focus on what's the most interesting way to word this. Was this an interesting topic that your viewers typically watch? No. Did we do a good job with the packaging? I think we could improve it. Did we do a good job with the intro? I thought it was boring. All these things can affect audience behavior, can make people watch for less, can make people choose the video less when they see it in their feed. That's a better explanation than some shift in the algorithm.
Poor retention strategy. So really bad intros. Things like, you know, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you didn't know me, I'm this, like introducing themselves. I always talk about the best intros hit you with action as quickly as possible. And some people say, well, there's no action in the education niche. Well, the action in the education niche is just education then. Like the value proposition. You can replace action with value proposition. To me, the trick is really getting really good at intros. And I know everyone says that, and it's almost like cliche of, oh yeah, make good intros. But still to this day, I watch so much YouTube content, and we're talking to smart creators. Like it's not even just beginners, it's smart top creators that still make these mistakes. They just don't put enough emphasis on, you know, the opening sort of, even like the opening 5 seconds. Like I really want to talk about retention hack. How's your opening 5 seconds? Because if you look at a retention curve, you know, in those first like 5 to 10 seconds, you're losing a lot of people.
If I told you, that's a great way to start like an opening sentence to a video. If I told you, or I always like starting videos with this, like this guy, or if I told you, versus like so many other videos, you'd be like, hey, welcome back to, you know, top 5 tips of the day. YouTube's algorithm is way smarter than creators give it credit for, I think. Like even just like that example, like personalization based on your viewing behavior, your watch history, what other people like you are watching. Like sometimes creators comes up to me and they say, oh, like, do you think the YouTube algorithm understands this or that? And it's like really simplistic things. And I'm like, this thing is like way more powerful than we even realize. It's the best recommendation system ever built.
YouTube's algorithm is meritocracy. If you make a video that has better metrics and is more entertaining and more interesting than a channel with 10 million subs, you will get more views.
Have you found if likes affect the performance of the video?
Likes and video performance are slightly correlated. So there is like a relationship between a video that gets more likes, gets more views, but it's not as important as retention. I used to actually just watch a video all the way through and say, where am I bored? I'd get my younger brother to watch the video all the way through, and just if he noted somewhere where he felt, anyway, this was just boring or it didn't make sense, he'd just like write a quick timestamp down on a notepad.
Very conventional wisdom on YouTube that you have to be consistent, you have to post lots of videos. I think that's important at the beginning stage of your journey, for sure. Like I would recommend beginner YouTubers post as much as they can without burning themselves out. Like post as much videos as you can, get the reps in for sure.
Thinking about the viewer trying to click it, always just getting deep about that. This is going to be shown to a human. I need for them to see this, stop their scroll, get interested, and then commit action.
So again, I talk to people and they'll go shoot an incredible piece of content. They'll spend maybe days, maybe even weeks making this piece of content, and they're making the thumbnail an hour before the video goes live.
Are things clear enough? Like actually audibly clear enough. I always say this, the average viewer on YouTube is not listening to the video with Sennheiser 3040s or whatever the hell, you know, they're just watching it on their AirPods on the train. They woke up in the morning, their mother's shouting at them to get up, and they're just watching it, or they're just watching it without headphones, you know? And I think it's really important to consider that. Sometimes it's about looking past retention curves and saying like, yeah, this might actually lead to a 2% dip, but 2% dip, that means maybe 98% of people that still watched after that point.
Yeah.
If it added something to them, it's still beneficial. And I think as YouTubers, we sometimes have a bias towards micro drops in retention and not the full video. I think that's really important to consider. What works on YouTube shifts over time. We're seeing a lot of people starting to consume shorts. I don't think shorts and long form compete necessarily, but naturally it's like eyeballs can go on, you know, like you only have a certain amount of time in a day. Like if shorts start taking more of that time, that takes away from long form.
They might be getting 10, 20 million views a month, but that's not converting into revenue or like loyal subscribers. And that's not to say that you shouldn't do shorts, but it's also just to kind of always keep that that in context of how these channels have blown up with shorts.
The man who solved YouTube, it's okay. It's not the strongest. Like it doesn't, and it's also a bit long solved.
Yeah.
The man who beat YouTube. It just sounds more aggressive, more in your face.
Yeah.
The man who broke YouTube, you know? And like me and anyone that knows me as an actual individual and clients, they know I'm very balanced and I don't like to be kind of too sensational with how I think about YouTube. But like, you got to play that game. You got to like say, MrBeast broke YouTube. You don't want to say, MrBeast gave YouTube exactly what they wanted. You want to be like, he smashed YouTube.
A lot of people front load the video with way too much context. Let's say if it was my video and I front loaded it with too much context, I would start the video by saying, hey guys, welcome back. If you don't know me already, I'm, Paddy Galloway. I'm one of the top YouTube consultants. And today we're going to look at MrBeast and I'm going to show you some of the really interesting things he does. We're going to learn a lot in this video and there's going to be 4 main parts to it. And, all this sort of like nonsense context.
So what do you do instead?
So what you do instead is you really focus on getting into the action story as quick as possible.
People are going to know I already said something similar to this before. I always need to provide something completely novel and new every single time. And I do think it is good to, constantly be innovating and trying different things, of course, but sometimes relying or going back to what has worked and just hammering that point home or maybe addressing it from a different angle is, a great way to make better content.
We get to share stories. We are among the most privileged people in history. Doesn't mean we can't have struggles. Doesn't mean that we can't have like hard times and go through things, because I go through things, you go through things, everyone goes through things. But I'm always grounded by that idea of like, in the first world, whether that's United States, Ireland, Europe, Canada, like we have it so good.
We
And
get
it's almost,
to care about stories.
yeah, we get to care about that. Like some people's story is just, what am I going to eat today?